Let's go!
The Annihilator Cup happened, right? It's a whole bunch of games. It's Street Fighter, and then people are playing Street Fighter, and I swear it's kind of enjoyable to see people like dueling it out and not have like all the information. For me, it feels, especially when you're stuck once again in this like fighting game bubble, that so many people forget what it's like to be a casual. That the very, very, very huge majority of people that are playing these games or have tried to play these games are actually playing like some of the people did in the Annihilator Cup, right? Where they're just like hitting buttons or sticking to one strategy and just doing one thing and just trying to get wins. People tend to forget that regardless of how incredibly high level of skill you have become at a specific fighting game, that you were there at one point too. You might not have been there for that game, right? You might not have been there for that game at some point. But I remember myself first learning how to do fireballs and stuff when I was like 9 years old or something like that, or 10 years old. We started thinking that fighting games need to be harder or instead of more accessible. You need to watch a stream of a new player trying out Street Fighter V. And this is important context to me because I'm actually in the opposite end of this argument. I'm still in the opposite end where I still don't feel that you need to specifically tone down the mechanics of fighting games to get people into them. This dude isn't here because he just wants to get into fighting games. No. These people are all here at this event because they're competing for like $350,000 or something like that. And what are they doing? They're playing a 6-year-old game, right? They're playing a game where the other competitors might have a wide variety of opportunity to play this or jump in and do stuff and things like that, right? Like, this is a 6-year-old game, dude. But here's the funny thing. I was invited to this event like 3 months ago, and I saw that it had like Street Fighter V and it had a whole bunch of other games. And I said no. I actually really appreciate being offered to go to something as big like the Annihilator Cup. I thought that was very nice of them. But I said no because when I looked at the games that were in the competition, there was a lot of stuff that I just was like, oh, I have no idea how to play those games. Do I stand a chance against all these other people that were primarily like shooting game players? Would I have joined this? And if like, I don't know, if like, I think Counter-Strike was on it. If I had joined this event, would it make any sense for me to be like super pissed that how do I keep up with these CSGO players? I'm on screen for a frame and I'm getting headshot. This is insane. This is ridiculous. No, the perspective here is that these people in this tournament are casual players for sure for like a lot of these games, especially like the fighting game part of it, right? And these people are competing for like $350,000. It wasn't like everybody jumped in and we're just gonna decide to play Street Fighter V today and see how casual friendly it is. Like, no, it's gonna be rough. And I was watching Lyric and some other players doing some stuff that was like, damn, that's really cool. They're figuring stuff out really quick. They're figuring stuff out that even people at high level have a tough time doing. Walking and blocking, right? Sticking to a strategy, adjusting the strategy on the fly if it's not working. Like applying really basic concepts in things like neutral and not just combos, right? I think in general, people don't give casual players enough credit because at any given point you were a casual. And it's the reason why I didn't really think I was a great fit for this tournament when I was asked about it like, I don't know, 3 months ago. Like I really appreciated the invite, but there's only one game in here that I think somewhat fits with me, and it's a game that I really haven't played a lot of, and it's Street Fighter V. So I had to pass, because I'm not just going to jump into CSGO or Hearthstone or whatever other things are in here and expect to have a whole bunch of success, right? I'm just not. I know those games have been around for a long time, and it's going to be really difficult to even do anything against people that are halfway competent at those games, because even the base skill level is really high. If you get into a fighting game, right, and you have a reason to like it, you have like a moment or a reason or competition or friends or something that makes you have your motivating factor to get into fighting games, I think that's all you really need. And I've been saying this for the longest time, where it's that if you just make the game that people love, people will get better at it. And there will be more people that will make the jump. They'll bridge the gap of wanting to be somebody that just matches their face against buttons. Because that is actually how a lot of people still think fighting games work. Like, I hate to break it to you guys, but from a very large perspective, people just think you hit the button faster and harder, and that is how you are better at fighting games. Like, it is really crazy to think that this is still the case. I'm not really talking about any of these individual players in here being good or bad at the game. I'm saying that this is like a very unique situation that if we're like looking at this as like how casuals play the game, I think this is a very controlled sort of like moment where these people were required to be good and compete with other people for a lot of money. But this is not a normal situation. The thing that gets people usually into fighting games is you have characters you love or a game that you think is just super sick. And by the natural process of you learning the game and just playing it, you will be introduced to other people that are good. You'll want to beat them. You'll want to learn from them. You'll want to make friends with some of them. Like, that is the natural process of a fighting game. And here's the thing, the better the fighting game is, or the more features the fighting game has, that's why some fighting games really are ones that expand the scene. And we talked about this before. Casuals all over the place, like holy crap. And those casuals end up becoming some of the best players in the world. Shocking, right? Well, it's because they got the game that they wanted, right? They eventually got the game that gave them enough motivation, enough camaraderie, like all the elements that go into an actual fighting game community to become better. And once again, do I think that like taking out the motion inputs of fighting games or all this stuff, it's like, well, all of these things can help new players become better. They can. But at the same time, if all the other things in the game are friggin' sick, and if the game is just super fun and has all these amazing characters and everything lines up for you, then you'll already make those impossible connections that weren't there before. And I still personally feel that like fighting games should just, you can introduce cool things the characters can do. If you simplify stuff, you have to expand it. We're going to tone down our fighting game to appeal towards like this casual audience. I disagree. Because if you make the game that people want in terms of like characters and everything else, then you can have an audience. It's definitely there. And I've used this example a lot, but I know several people that have been introduced to my own videos and have found fighting games through my videos. The biggest motivator for me is that I know that some of those people don't actually watch my stuff anymore. However, they went on to become some of the best players in the world at that game. And I think that's amazing. That's actually the whole goal. The whole goal that I have on my end is just to get you to find the thing that you love about whatever game it is. Get you to find the thing that you love about this fighting game, and then go from there. And then you'll find the reasons to become a not casual at that point.